Disaster has struck. 2 panzer divisions, 1 motorized division destroyed in North Africa. Disaster has struck. Hello everyone, this is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4's World Ablaze mod. Let's take a look. Well, I guess it hasn't even, clock hasn't moved to like show us the balance here, but yes, disaster is stuck. Now we have a criminally low, I mean we have 6 more up here that aren't committed down there, but we have supply problems. Now what I am doing here is I am sending 7 of his divisions down to Toronto, and we're going to see about reinforcing Italy, though Italy seems like they have this. These are all, I mean, they're retreating. They're moving around a little bit. These guys look like they are. I don't even know if I'm going to cross the straits and put them into Albania, but I figured I'd send them that way. We have enough other forces here that if Yugoslavia jumps or something, we can push here, I think. Because again, they're, you know, thinly lined border. Right, well. We're not planning on going beyond service by requirement. Now we got 1.73 million people, limited exports, war economy. That all looks good. What I think we're going to do now is there's a lot of these here. Activate pre-war stockpiles. Now this is very glad Uncharted has put this in here. You do get 1,000 units of Panzer Is. Now that's a bit over, but the way this game works is it uses up equipment. So like when you train, you know, you burn up Panzer Is, which I've just never been very favorable of, and I've seen how relatively small numbers, as in 20, 30, of a tank can really do something in real life. You know, I'm thinking of, like, there was a, I'm saying like a lot, but a group of Polish R-35s, I believe it was, that when, you know, Poland and Romania shared a border, escaped at the end. I think it was R-35s, which are, you know, French-built tanks. You know, sort of goes over to Romania along with all the other troops, and they're disarmed. You know, they're not. I don't quite. Most of the Poles get out. You know, the soldiers, and go to France, I believe. But they're disarmed of their, at least, you know their rifles, and because you don't see them using their rifles later on, and their, you know, heavy equipment like tanks and whatever. Well, they end up being used for like the Presidential Guard tank battalion or something, and there's not a lot of them. You know, but it's, you know. Yeah, they consume spare parts, there's maintenance, but you don't really burn up tank holes in training or just moving or other attrition. You know, you do in combat, but even there you have a remarkable level of reuse. Sometimes, like we can see in North Africa, where you like you see British capturing British tanks that have German markings on them, or a bunch of unlucky Australians that there's probably, well, I don't know, maybe more than 10, but less than 20 Italian tanks, not the little CV tankettes, but ones with actually, you know, tank gun on them, were turned over to the Australians, and paint big white kangaroos on the side of the turrets. So don't shoot me, we're friendly kind of markings. But more that they're saddled with Italian tanks is why they're unlucky. I don't know if those units were ever used in combat, but I think it's more than a training outfit. But maybe they were used as a training outfit. I don't know. They very well may have, before being actually put into combat, I don't know, been re-equipped, because they do keep a strategic reserve throughout the campaign back here, unfortunately, which this game does not, of course, think in the terms of strategic reserve. So, I don't know if they actually were put into the front line, but so there are, obviously, when there is capturing equipment here in this game, true, and they do have that mechanic, but I still think they use up too much of some of the equipment. So this is my view on it. So the 1,000 of that and the 20,000 Gevers. Well, I'm still not sure whether this mod or the game, how it views support equipment. Does that equal the 100,000 official troops the Weimar Republic gets to retain post-World War One? I do know that there are huge stockpiles of equipment that are secreted all around the country. One of the people responsible for dealing with that equipment, if you will, was Ernst Röhm. He was tasked by the Reichswehr to coordinate down in Bavaria with various right-wing militias and to facilitate their training, and not to give them these weapons. No, they weren't quite doing that, but to keep them in somewhat secret, this is like in the 1920s, and not when he was out in Paraguay. Or was it Bolivia? I forget. I think it was Bolivia, but I'm not sure. Paraguay and Bolivia have a war, and Rome goes down there for part of it, I think, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if he was. Did he in the Chaco War? Oh, he's down there. Sorry, I'm getting lost and not remembering the detail. But yeah, in the 20s. So not being in locations not being inspected by the Treaty of Versailles monitors, shall we say, that they could pass out to these right-wing militias, whether to deal with a communist uprising, like we see the Spartacus revolt in Berlin and other places, or an invasion, so more reliable militia units that may already have some equipment, may even have, I don't know, some of these right-wing militias do have a fair amount of equipment, but I don't know how much. But they keep these stockpiles hidden, and it also includes things like artillery, though much of the artillery is the wrong caliber for World War II. The Germans switch calibers, so but they're used. Every single piece that they have couldn't get their hands on, the Germans use, of their old stuff. But like building the Atlantic Wall or something, use it as other sort of needs. But the Gewehr 98s, they get used. Now, mostly when divisions are being trained up and whatnot, and then swapped over to frontline troops. But this does sort of represent a big collection of rifles. And we're also going to deploy the second wave of divisions here, because we have enough manpower. It took a big chunk, but with both of those things, I don't know if this will show. I think, yeah, that's what it was before we clicked it. Like 25,000. Yeah. We'll do that. Just want to see. Yeah, so we're at 43,000. And we are also switching, and I know some of you really do sort of pay attention. Okay, we have, why do we have 400,000 tungsten? Or 408, not 1,000, but 480 tungsten? Did somebody stop buying all of our tungsten or something? I knew we had an excess of... steel, and I thought an excess of that. Rather not give them the factory. That's... how in the hell? What the hell? That just seems like... oh, okay. That just gave us all of this Porto. Ah, that's it. Okay, which we did before. Goes to 408 tungsten. Okay, so we don't need this for the moment, or this for the moment. We may be back. Where did they go? I know we've been fighting down here. We don't want to totally forget what's going on. That heavy armor unit. Now, oh, I've had a bit of thoughts about that. Let's... those two divisions that were lost. No, I want to come here. Sorry, I'm wandering around. Lost at the moment, not really, but sort of. Heavy anti-air, we have a lot of those. So what we could have, should have done, well, let's see, what do we have? Support heavy anti-air. Trucks, yes, manpower, or 12 anti-aircraft units. Is there something that's going to supply fuel usage production? That's what we should probably have done before sending down. Learn from my mistakes, people. Learn from my mistakes. That way, and... we have the anti-air. Maybe just not an option here. I'm not seeing it. Okay, well. So, we're low on equipment partially because we just specified more equipment going there being here. It's not there. That probably, had we done that early on and fighting particularly this unit here of heavy armor, but presumably any armor, we would have done a lot better. Okay, January 1, so we're now in 1941. We have a few good options to research. Yeah, let's do this. Figure that's going to use up... Well, it's not going to use up this one. I really love these guys, but I think maybe that would be more appropriate. First, at least.
Angetreten.
Right, tank destroyer is going to do the ones. Okay. I'm giving time, hopefully, for the reinforcements of the heavy anti-air to come down and support us in our operations. Okay, Legionary Romania seeks to join the Axis. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, of course. We want that. We'll get nations to go protect, because Romania just joined as well. Get them more on watching borders, maybe that they should be watching, than paying attention to other borders that we don't care about. Okay. No, maybe for the best. I don't know. I've traditionally, coming from Hearts of Iron 3, not called in these guys until I was actually going to use them in some combat manner, but maybe the laws, etc., will help them out. Okay, I think we will downgrade that, and we can also downgrade that, and here, okay, Reich Protector of Bohemia. We'd rather take theirs. Kingdom of Hungary, let's do that. I don't know if that's going to be too much down for... Yeah, because I don't want to... Oh, steel. We need more steel now. Oh boy. Somebody's effing buying it. See, look at all the... Soviet Union is now buying huge amounts of our steel. Was one thing I was sort of waiting for. Okay, well... What we need to do here then is... Because I... We can do another second wave here. Okay. Reactivate core. As far as I know, no, I haven't read every book. I'm still starting my way through Adam Tooze's book. But Germany was not selling resources to the Soviet Union, as far as I know. Now, they did sell I think it was after the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, some steel rolling machines in which you use to make big plates of like steel armor. You there's different ways of making steel armor. I'm not, because I almost started to describe them here, but Germany had some unique machinery set up to make other machinery that has not yet been re-replicated since then. Their production abilities were destroyed during World War II, and one of my friends was telling me, "Hi, Lum, if you're out there watching this, no, I know you don't, probably not watching this, but that there's still some big machining equipment in America that America takes after Victor takes the spoils, that is backlogged like 5 or 10 years, and it's some of the only out there in the world um, machinery that's able to mill some of these big giant pieces of steel. But to make the machines, to make the machines, to make the machines that make the machines, make the several steps, that it takes huge amounts of industrial planning, and it's just not economical for a company to build these, because they're not going to make that many of them, just not needed. Some of the intermediate steps that, to some degree, only a planned economy. Now, it doesn't have to be an entirely central planned economy. A planned economy could look something like a space program that is, now, of course, we have, SpaceX under, and there's a few others, but under Elon Musk. But it could be a national space program that is not just going to, oh shit, we can't buy the X doohickey, no one can make that. No, they, make the whole economy, to make the rockets, to make the stuff that make all the intermediate tools. They just require it and pay for, even if you only need one of these machines to, that will, for the next 50 or 100 years, crank out something, and you don't know after 50 or 100 years if you'll still be needing that machine, so you don't want to make 30 of them. But it doesn't matter, you'll pay the company, $1 billion or $100 billion or whatever to make one of these machines. But in a general capitalist type free market thing, there just isn't enough customers to make the, make it worthwhile to produce one of these machines. So that is what can be done with the planned economy. It doesn't, again, need to be an entire, the whole economy turned over to central planners, just a segment enough with some entity. Obviously can be a government, but could be some other entity that's just going to pay whatever it takes to get the thing made. And I know it's called Herman the German here in Southern California, a huge crane that's used in the port, which I think was taken from a port here, to lift very heavy objects on and off ships or whatever. And another part of American war booty, and it's still being used here today, because it's a very big, very efficient crane. So what I'm getting at is, Germany had some of the machines to make very large machinery equipment. Well, the Soviet Union didn't have some of these things. Not that they couldn't eventually build it. They couldn't, but they couldn't build it in a short period of time, as in a few years. Like I say, they needed some intermediate steps. Well, Germany sells some of the steel rolling equipment to the Soviet Union, or it's part of the exchange program for the resources coming into Germany. And I think Germany thought, well, hey, yeah, no problem. We don't really care if the Soviet Union builds some ships, because that's sort of what the steel rolling equipment was Germany was being used for the big, hull plating, thick hull plating, armored. You'd normally roll it into shape and then harden it for armor, but That's the normal procedure, as far as I know. So they sell it to there. But the machinery mostly ends up being used to make things like KV-1 armor and T-34 armor, but particularly like KV-1 and some of the thicker armor plates on some of the heavier German tanks. So, oops. Yeah. And they were selling some other equipment, and they also sold a lot of, what do you call it? Set up license production. Was it the ZPUDs or the, I forget how you pronounce it, or what are the, let's see what the order of battle these guys look like. Okay, biggest lack is no anti-tank that I'm seeing. The biggest one, not the only one. We're also going to send you out here to watch the large Soviet border along our border. You know, motorcycles that the Soviets produce, or was it the Mercedes? I forget. Like I said, motorcycles, but it was somebody's motorcycles, and the Soviet anti-tank gun, the 45mm anti-tank gun, is just a slightly scaled up from the German 37mm gun, and so it's licensed production in the Soviet Union. And so the Russians realize, oh, we should be using heavier stuff. I really wish the Italians hadn't called these guys in. Really wish only the faction leader could call in members into the thing, because see, we're moving Hungarian units. I'm not going to war right now, but when I do go to war, I might want to looking for my new heavy anti-aircraft guns to be in. Okay, they're in place here. Okay, they're in place. That's what I needed to know. I needed to see. Wanted to make sure Rommel, who now only has one division. Okay, they have their heavy anti-aircraft guns. I hope that will be what we need to do. We're going to put these 6 divisions right there. I'm going to push back up to Marsa Maruth, and hopefully we won't have the last disaster. Like I say, we should have done that before even sending the divisions down to North Africa. Yeah, probably would have pushed us. It's that one heavy armor unit that's right there that's been our bane, and I'm not sure that this other stuff. Nitron might not be that heavy, but still. Annoyingly noisy there. Yeah, just a pinning attack. Not meant for victory. Okay. Very few joined that attack. You attack again. I know Rommel is not going to work out, but just slow them up every little bit helps. Has Rommel been able to be... Oh, Rommel is... I'm just looking for Rommel's picture. He was getting close. No, he's still just level 2. I think it's criminally low how they've put his stats. having much greater success, even though that is still sort of costing us a bit. Okay, you go in. That heavy armor unit. They're getting too confident. On Italy, join in. Okay, well. That offensive is over until we get reorganized a bit better. Maybe they'll send in some more troops into the pocket, it looks like it. Okay, integrate Hungary. Very good. That got us a few. Got us 4 military factories. Hungary 8. And incentivize its trade treaty. 7 days, 21 days. I think we'll go with this first. Okay, these guys are down here now. I guess somewhere between not trusting. I think maybe I will trust the Italians that they've got this, because I see them moving over another division. I see 2 weak armored divisions here. I think they may have gotten this. If I start seeing some British divisions, probably send over those troops, but at least they're in the neighborhood. Okay, well. Go up to Memel there. Yeah, just one. Though would love the OI3 map for Europe. Much better than this map. Sort of scare the Soviets and hey, we have a really big army. Don't do anything naughty. You've already got all of your conquests that you get. They're attacking us. Sort of kind of good if he weakens himself that badly. Kingdom of Hungary accepts our economic integration. Okay, good. That's actually going to trigger that, which should, as long as they're planning on being our allies. 8 more military factories should be a benefit towards them. Okay, well, okay, we're still down on rubber by 5. Now, I could be producing more aircraft and shit. A little more rubber there. And so I have sort of tailored, okay, we're not needing all of that. Steel again. I'd rather have a little extra there than not enough. Let's look at all of these decisions we could make. Okay, we need lots of anti-tank, lots of support equipment. Lots of anti-tank, lots of support equipment, as well as other things. Like I say, we could be making more. So, and we have, well, 400 plus railways than we currently need. So, Um, let's do that. 5 more factories there, so that'll be more aluminum. You're 4,000 down, so maybe we need 10 factories. Ten factories there. And anti-tank. We got lots of tungsten now, so let's go times 5 here, there. Okay. Trying to look to see where we can economize on other production. Okay, so this is our second line of anti-tank, yeah. Well, I guess 400 we're going to keep in production. I'm not like I'm going to cut production here, and I already reduced it before into half of what we're currently doing. So that'll still be quite a few coming in. We, in the last 30 days, only lost 1 to bombing. With trains, trucks, we don't need any, but we are, you know, economizing there. Well, these guys are in fairly decent shape. The question is where do we hit? They're defending there, good. Okay, we're going to wait just a little bit longer while this pocket fills up a little bit more. Let's push it that way. Maybe we can cut all of these guys off. And the division of that. Okay, you come along. Let's now look at the air situation here. Okay, well. Really don't have too much room for a great amount of more, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, yeah, looks like the Italians have got this here in Greece, so I'll leave them to it. I think they're about ready to break. So next best motorized division, you come rush that way. You know, they'll still have the port there for some level of supply, but if we can keep them from retreating and we push in from multiple places into Mersa Maruth, we'll support that attack, we don't want to give up that province even for a moment. I was hoping also that we would be able to do this. Okay, wait, get 3 divisions, not attack too weak. 3 armored divisions in here. Come on. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Now all 3 attack that way. And you attack it there to keep them from reinforcing right away. You guys out here attacked again for the same reason, even if weakly and guys. Now we will integrate march south. Practice the investment claims, gain claims on Sajaka, gain annex war goal against the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. Could be fun. What are those Marines or something that are like super kick-ass that I don't get why we're... Okay, stop. Stop. We're gonna push straight into Marsa Maruth from the two angles. Okay, you come back up that way. Okay, where are we being invaded? Isn't that the invasion warning here? We're getting a few convoys, not many. Wasn't that the invasion warning? Like, warning, warning, your territory is being invaded? Pay attention, gamer. Or other stupid player, you have an invasion? Well, I don't know. Okay. What magically came over these guys? They're like super units now. You're gonna get cut off there again. They just killed me. What the hell just happened? I mean, a brilliant trap and all. Yeah, but what am I not getting? Because what am I not getting here? What am I not getting? Please, somebody from anybody, tell me what happened. Yeah, I did. Why was it when I attacked like here and here, it was almost impossible? I was wondering whether these were the Royal Marines or somehow super stuck up, but you know, super soldier or whatever. But some of these others, it didn't seem to be here. So is it? I don't know. Is it? Ugh. Those three divisions of armor and one of that's a total of five armored divisions and 2 motorized divisions destroyed. almost half of Germany's armor divisions. To me, that's unrecoverable. And I just don't. Okay, people. I'm fine with being outsmarted. Okay, I really am. It's like, because okay, that's a brilliant trap. They got me surrounded. They came in and they cut it off. Great, fine. I'm not complaining about that. But why were the two divisions here, one being a Marine division, one being an infantry division, was basically impossible to attack, and similar here in Mercer Marut? And we weren't talking about Heavy Armor Boy over here, the 3rd Heavy Armor Division. But please explain to me why my attacks were, and here, we were winning here, but it was all of these that killed me here. And which I understand. I understand why all these would kill this weak unit. I get that. I really do. But, I don't get why these Italians can take on this division here. And I just don't get it. And that's in essence what happened, though we had made it to here and occupied this. And it isn't just Gamer throwing a hissy fit or something why I'm saying we have Bulgaria in now. Okay. I didn't notice them come in. We just incentivized them. They remember the access, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I'm good. But, because, to me, you know, yes, I could play on. I'm not saying I won't. Well, my maybe going even back and, you know, restarting before replaying some of this, but I want to know why. Part of this is I want to know why, so I can learn from it. Very much so. But I ain't attacking the damn Soviet Union with 6 armor divisions. Oh, but Gamer, you have a 7th down here. Yeah, okay, almost. It's the holdout in North Africa. And yes, well, depends on when I go. Right now, just training 2, and one just popped up here, briefly. But, and like I say, I'm not pleased by, and this is a Hearts of Iron 4 problem, not a Black Ice, but how much equipment gets used up in some of these combats, because we see a lot of tanks knocked out and returned to fighting either from, you know, on the battlefield, you know, up, you know, by support elements within the division recover damaged tanks and put them back into action, to literally like going back to Berlin. That's where Alket was located, major tank manufacturer. Like all of the Ostwinds and Whirlwinds, at least documented by anybody who you've been able to do so, are all returned tanks, Panzer IVs from the front line. Some of them they've even looked at the different production numbers, like serial numbers or whatever on the vehicle, to know that the hull, not the turret with the anti-aircraft gun, but the hull are from 2 different tanks. So they're actually like cutting damaged tanks apart, long weld seams or whatever, and removing the more damaged ones and putting them together, and then turning them into anti-aircraft tanks, because they needed anti-aircraft tanks and whatnot. But those were never an original production item. They were always rebuilds of other vehicles. So we know there's a lot of recovery of vehicles, and there is some trickle back in this game, I know, but but I don't know where I'm going to get the medium tanks to, even if what I'm trying to say is, even if I could come here and you know, add unit, add unit, add unit, add unit, and oh, get plenty of tanks and, you know, get plenty of units in, you know, 4 months, or wait till 42 to attack the Soviet Union. I wasn't planning on leaving all that armor down there. Maybe Rommel to mess around with 2 or 3 divisions, you know, in Egypt and Iraq and whatnot. Yeah. Please, could someone tell me what happened down here? Just explain it to me. You know, if I understand it, I understand it, and I may approve. Well, hey, after this, if you want to see more of Hearts of Iron, not just this series, please like the video, please post a comment, and really love all you guys who make it this far.